Meow. First time I've been on YouTube in 2025. Chat monitor's working. My music's on. And I lied to you guys. Shit, I hit the fucking wrong button. I'm still not used to streaming again. It's been a while. Alright, we gotta turn music down. Music's for me, not you guys. It's heavily copyrighted. Alright. Now, I did lie to you guys. Because it's not the first time I've been on YouTube. What the fuck is my screen switching button? That one was the fucking KVM. Alright, I was on Tech Over Tea. Now, I love Tech Over Tea. I love watching it. I love being on it. I love Brody Robertson as a YouTuber. I love him as a friend. That sounds weird. He's important to me. And so, I like these episodes. They're a lot of fun for me. And they're a way I practice public speaking. And you know what? Unashamedly, it's a way for me to draw attention to my shit. Because I do cool shit. I think you guys can agree with that. I wrote a fucking game engine while blind. Nobody does that. Some people probably do that, and I'm one of them. So, you know what? I'm completely not ashamed. But, I'm a little annoyed. I'm gonna call this guy out. Alright? This guy, right here. I'm calling you a guy, because I do at least have some respect. I'm not gonna call you a kid, even though you most likely are. Thinks I'm a little bit, or rather, absolutely insufferable. While at the same time, sounding very self-centered. And it's as if I'm a kid who needs tons and tons of attention. Look at me. So special. Blah, blah, blah. I'd be fine. Oh, fuck, that's Spotify. I would be fine with a comment like that if it wasn't totally hypocritical. Honestly, literally, first of all, podcast hadn't been out for 2 hours, so there's no way he's watched it. No way. He probably just heard my voice 5 seconds in and went, oh, fuck this guy. Gotta bully him. You know what? That's fine. That's what you want to do with your time, whatever. But I want to program with my time. So you know what? I'm a program. I'm a program out of spite. I don't even care. Okay, I do care a little bit. Oh, my... voice is a little quiet? Alright. Alright. I'm gonna go and fix that. Because I had to turn down the mic for the podcast recording, and that was a few weeks ago. I know how to fix it. We're gonna take Blue Snowball Mono. I'm gonna raise that up a little. There we go. That should be better, right? I hope. Okay, just another little check. Doing this live. That's not the button. Properties. Blue Snowball Mono. Okay, so we're on the right mic. It's a step low. Okay. There we go. We got it fixed. See, that's what happens when you're constructive with your feedback. It gets fixed. Anyway. So, because I don't want to draw any more attention to asshat in the comment section, we're gonna work on socially distant for a bit. Preferably for 2 hours. You know. As this is my stream. And we do things my way. And if I want to have my 2 hours of fame, I'll have my 2 hours of fame, and that will be... we're gonna try that again. We're gonna try that again. If I want to have my 2 hours of fame, I'll have my 2 hours of fame, and you'll have no fucking say in it, because it's my stream. So yeah! I'll show you how insufferable I can be. So, first thing I want to do right now. First of all, how are you guys doing? Because it's been a while since I've streamed. And as angry as I'm playing things off, I'm not even bothered by it, honestly. I'm a little bit insulted, but it is what it is. Welcome to the internet, all that, whatever. Who cares? Ain't gonna stop me. But it has been a while since I've done a live stream. This kind of... That comment kind of got the fire burning in my stomach to get it going again. But, you know, the reason I haven't been streaming lately is just because I've been overly busy and overly exhausted. Honestly. I don't have a lot of energy all the time. Programming is a little bit difficult for me nowadays. And I don't really have many games I can play, which is why the gaming streams kind of died. I got bored with Grand Theft Auto. Sorry about that. But, you know, I want to come back. I want to come back. 2025 is the year of the Ritney stream. Still a bit low. Still a little bit low. Okay, nothing I can do about that in software. We can... I'd have to reorganize my desk to fix that. I apologize. Okay, so... I'm glad you guys are doing well, and I'm glad you guys are being all on top of me with the microphone. I applied for a job at the KDEEV. If that goes well, I'm gonna buy an actual mic stand and have it be overhead. I hope I get that job. Realistically, probably not. You know, there's a lot of programmers out there, not a lot of programming jobs. That, and it's been a while since I've used C++. Haven't touched QML. I was upfront about that. Put your mic on a Lenovo smart clock. Oh, I have one of those. I have one of those clocks. It's not very smart nowadays. Alright, so I want to do something. I want to theme the drop down. So, I don't know why I closed the game. I mean, I'll need the game closed to do this, but... if we go to system settings, this thing right here, you guys know it's clickable, because I've shown screenshots of it being clickable. There is a drop down here. It's just not themed. There's no visual style for it, so it renders nothing behind the scenes. That's what I want to fix in this stream. Because, you know, instead of spending my time bullying people on the internet, I like to spend my time programming and working on a drop-down box. That's a much more productive use of my time. Alright. Okay, so, drop downs. First thing I want to get working is I want to be able to actually render a background. If we can do that, then we can theme it later. So that's where we're going to start. And luckily, it is 4 lines of code to do that. I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh shit. We're gonna want Microsoft XNA framework color black. I hope I'm not recording desktop audio. I'm not. Okay, we're good. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure that has a black background on it. Is the game still running in the background? It's taking a while to build. Yes it is. Kill that off. I have crappy webcam somewhere. I don't know where it went. Okay. So, we've got a drop-down background now, kinda. So first thing I notice, zooming in, is there seems to be padding. I'm not sure where the padding came from, but there's definitely padding. It might be from the font, realistically. I don't know. This is a really nice feature of KDE, though. If you zoom in far enough, you can actually set it how far you have to zoom in before it enables it, but there's now a pixel grid. So you can go in, it disables the linear filtering, which is... See how the text is kind of blurry here. That goes away. And then you get a nice little defined pixel grid that you can use. So... That's handy. They added that in 6.3. The only thing that kind of sucks about ADE 6.3 right now, and it's a bug in 6.2 as well, and it's been a bug for a while. If you hover over a window, one of these thumbnail things, you see it's hitting really badly. Okay, maybe you can't quite see it, because it's a little more obvious in person with dual monitors, and knowing that I'm the one moving the mouse. But, like, these full-screen window previews is what they're called. There's some sort of resource leak in there. It's not fun to have one of them pop up. So... Yeah, that's a little bit bad. I've seen bug reports about it on Bugzilla. I've talked to Kwin devs about it, so it's a known thing. Not great though. Oh, you can set the pixel grid. If you go system settings, you go desktop effects, you learn how to type, and you go to your zoom. That's the settings for it, I think. Yeah. There's the zoom factor, which for some reason is always at 1.20 for me, even though it's way higher than that. And then right below that, there's now a show pixel grid at zoom level, and in my case, I have it at 95 times. So that's... Yes, this is what 95 times zoom looks like. And then, of course, you have your usual mouse pointer and mouse tracking. What I haven't checked is there should be text cursor tracking on X11, but I was told that was broken on Wayland, and that is an eventual feature. I want to see if that works. If that works, my life's gonna be saved. Let me try it in Rider. Okay, it didn't quite... Okay, it doesn't work in Rider. Let's try... Kate. The KDE Advanced Text Editor. Surely it's advanced enough. Okay, let's try pasting some code in just to give me stuff to cursor around in. Okay, so that feature still don't work on the Wayland. That's fine. Wayland, my beloved. But yeah, you can absolutely set when the pixel grid starts. If you wanna untie the pixel grid from the pixel perfect rendering, that's not possible yet, but I have suggested that as a feature. Shamelessly eating a meat pie on stream. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Distraction aside, now that we have a background, the next thing that we need is a visual state. A visual state in Socially Distant, or wherever in my game engine, is... it's a little hard for me to navigate the drop-down code. It's kind of old. Either way, a visual state just tells the theming system about the widget and what its current state is. I'm trying to find the bottom of this class. Okay. I'm gonna try and get to the bottom of the file. There we go. Okay, so we got an event handler here. That's cool. What class am I in? Shameless meat pie indeed. Alright, found the bottom of the class. Okay, so we're gonna create a new struct, visual state. And this will represent... Actually, in this case, it can't be nested within this class. That's because of generic types. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna put it outside the class. And I'm gonna call it drop down button visual state. And right away, I'm gonna put a hovered value on it. And give it a pressed value. I'm gonna give it a open value. So this will track whether the drop-down button is hovered or pressed by the user, or the drop-down itself is open. So, you know, you've clicked on it, the items are showing that's open. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create an I drop down renderer. And it's gonna be an iVisual state. Nope. iVisual. No. iVisual. Been a while since I've done a generic theme renderer, so it'll take me a little bit to get reacquainted with my own fucking code. Okay. We have in T-Visual Properties, where T-Visual Properties is a struct. Okay. So in this case, drop down button visual state. There we go. Actually, I don't think that's what I need to do. I need to create the iVisual interface that I care about mostly. So, at the top of the class, I'm going to do iVisual. Drop down button visual state. Okay, I don't like that it creates the property at the bottom here. I'm going to move that to the top. No unread messages. Alright, that means I'm all caught up to the chat. Okay. I'm gonna do ref state. We have the reference to it being returned from that property. And I'm gonna do a little bit of the old inherit doc. Because documentation is important. Alright. Now, and now I remember what I need to do. So, instead of me implementing iVisual with this type parameter directly, what we actually need to do is I drop down button visual. Whoops. And down at the bottom, next to the visual state struct itself, I'm going to do public interface I drop down button visual, and then it'll be iVisual drop down visual state. Okay. So this interface just has that visual properties field on it. Alright, cool. So next what I'm going to do is find where the mouse hovers the button. So we got I gain focus handler, I lose focus handler, I drag start handler. I drop down button. I don't know why this is an I drag start handler. That's weird. We have I mouse click handler. Alright, so we're going to need to implement these interfaces. We need I mouse enter handler, I mouse leave handler, we need I mouse down handler, and I mouse up handler. Okay. So, on mouse enter, we do e.handle. Hovered equals true. I'll add that property later. On mouse leave, e.handle, hovered equals false. On mouse down, if e.button.left, we don't do anything if the button is not left, so this should be is equal to 0. So if the left button is not included in the list of buttons, then don't do anything. Handle. Pressed equals true. Same for mouse leave. Or mouse up. Except pressed equals false. There we go. Okay. Let's create those properties. Hovered. Pressed. Now for the fun part. Making the theming system aware of these properties. So, right below our on rebuild geometry here, I'm going to override the before render method. So this will get called by the game before a new frame renders. And this is your chance to go update your visual state. So, the way it works is if we okay, so first of all, we compare the current state of the mouse being hovered with that within the visual state. And if they're not equal, you update the visual state, and then you do invalidate geometry. And what that'll do is anytime one of these changes that you check for, it'll invalidate the widget's, its visual appearance, and it'll get re-rendered. So now we have to do the same for pressed. And there is one for opened, but I don't remember what it is. I don't know, selection, selected index, bool dropdown open. Okay, found it. So set that as well. Whoops. What the fuck? Something's... Oh, wait, I know what's wrong. Just opened. There we go. And then validate geometry. There we go. Little bit of GAN-dev code there, I know, but, it works. So next what we do is we do geometry, draw visual, and I think it's I drop down button visual, and then drop down button visual state. This. No, that's not it. T item type. The API is a little confusing for generic theming. It's gonna take me some fat fingering to get through this. What the, I'm so confused. Okay, give me a little bit of time here to figure things out. So, if we go draw visual, I've done this before, so I know it's the API for it exists. Okay, we got T-widget, T-visual, T-visual properties. T-widget must be of type widget and T-visual. T-visual must be of type iVisual, T-visual properties, and visual properties must be a struct. That's what I want. I am going full stream ahead. Some fat fingering to get through this. That's what it's gonna take. Okay. Apparently we got quite a lot of people coming. That's kind of cool. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, I'm missing a type parameter in drop down. That's all. Okay. You guys have to bear with me here. I'm like I said at the beginning of the stream, I haven't done a stream in a while, and also this is a part of the game I haven't touched in a while, so I'm not super familiar with what I'm supposed to be doing, but you know, we're making it work. That's not how you spell that. That's how you spell that. Okay, so that's gonna tell the game to render this widget with, you know, the drop-down button visual state. So there we go. Now that should have the immediate effect we scared one away. They couldn't handle the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, that was a horrible. Alright. So that should have the immediate effect of absolutely fucking breaking. By that I mean we just haven't themed it yet. That's fine. So, let's do the theming. This is where you guys get to see the most evil file in socially distanced entire codebase. The socially distant visual style. Look at how many interfaces it implements. Look at this! Alright, let's count it out. We got one. No, we got one here. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 interfaces. By the end of this, stream, it will be 23. There will be as many interfaces implemented in this file as I am years old. This file lags my computer to edit. This is evil. I like this theming system because it's very modular in terms of the game can theme pretty much anything. But it is very, very intensive on my computer to edit this file. It really is. So that's something. And you guys will see it. It'll be bad. So I have to remember. Yeah, you see the fucking IntelliSense lagging? That's barely any of it. Okay. So, I'm gonna take in special style as a constructor parameter, and then we're gonna do a private read-only drop-down visual. Or no, private read-only socially distant visual style. Okay. And then I believe this will be iVisual renderer. I drop down visual, or I drop down button visual, and then drop down button visual state. I got that first try. This little red squiggly of doom, it's because I haven't implemented the method. That's fine. Alright. So then we take this interface that I just implemented here, and we go to the top, and now there are 22 interfaces implemented by this class. Alright, so that's cool. And then, private read-only drop-down button style, drop-down button style. Okay. Oh no, hat monitor. Look at this! It's still loading the IntelliSense. Alright. There we go. That was a little brutal. We got it, though. Okay. Alright. So now we implement this interface. And we do drop-down style.draw. We do wait, no, what? No? This doesn't make sense. Okay, well, there's clip. But why would it take in a widget? I'm confused. Oh. That's why. Okay. So it wants the widget, the geometry itself, the geometry builder. We need content rect. And properties. Okay, so that's that implemented. Now we do clip, which is just changing 4 characters. Now this should have the immediate effect of crashing the game the moment that I open anything that has a drop-down visible in it. I hope it crashes the game, because that means the code worked. Usually that doesn't mean the code worked, but in this case we want the game to... And the game crashed! Fuck yeah! Awesome! Woo! Awesome. We crashed with a not implemented exception. That's why it's a good thing that it crashed. Or rather, that actually... I didn't read that crash. Why did that crash here? It should have crashed later on in the code. System null reference exception. Did I forget to initialize drop-down buttons? I swear I did it. That's a new name. I don't recognize that name. Welcome, Little Darker. I'm assuming that's your name. I don't know if it's your name. I can't see the chat. It's their screen reader. That's how it sounds. If I got that pronunciation wrong, I apologize. And I did, in fact, forget to initialize drop-down buttons now, because I initialized the wrong thing. It's fine. Okay. This time, the game should crash with a different error. And if it does, that means the code worked. Oh, whoops. It didn't crash. It didn't crash. It didn't crash. Why didn't it crash? I want it to crash. Oh, that'll be why it... That would be why it did crash. I want to make sure it actually did run that method, so... You know, instead of placing a breakpoint like a normal person, I'm just gonna make the game crash when it runs the method and see if I land there. And the game crash. Fuck yeah. Alright, cool. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Alright. So. Now we gotta do some visual design. We actually do have to do some visual design. More shamelessly eating a meat pie on stream. Whoops. I just fucking blinded you guys. I can't do printf debugging. I have a logging system. Actually, I could do printf debugging because the logging system does support that, but like, I meant that it wouldn't be a good idea to. I don't want to clog the log. Yes, this is C#.net. I am writing a game engine entirely in C# and .net. Deal with it. I am gonna pop you guys over to the KVM view while I log into Figma. Enjoy the view of a random Ubuntu server sitting in a login prompt for a sec. I know it's riveting Linux server content over there, but, you know, I need some time to sign in to Figma. It's a little bit slow. Continue with the Google. Oh goody, my cursor's stuck as a Figma cursor. Alright. Okay, welcome to Figma, the only visual design tool that I know how to use. And welcome to the socially distant slash acidic light community Figma project where I design shit. That's what happens here. Um, you know, a whole bunch of Richies all over the place. Just deal with it. Alright, so. I just want to kind of come up with a drop-down design in here. That's all I want to do. Okay, so. The reason I want to do this visually is so that I can get an idea of what it'll look like before I program it into the game's default theme. And that way I can copy the settings for it and everything. So, I'm gonna draw a box. And the very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give it this background color that is not white. I believe that's 111315. That's the base background color of the game's color scheme. And no, I did not pick those colors, by the way. That was 11 pixels in our community who picked that color palette. Visual Studio doesn't have a free trial. It will kick you out after 6 months if you don't sign into a Microsoft account. But as long as you sign into the account, which, by the way, is why I don't use Visual Studio, it'll work. It'll be free. Alright, I'm gonna take some... Okay, I'm gonna need another frame, because there's gonna be that little section on the side with the little arrow. But yeah, if you really want a good if you really want a good C# IDE, Visual Studio is not it. Genuinely. Honestly, if you really want to do C# specifically, JetBrains Rider. So much better than Visual Studio. It's for experimenting, it's completely free. It's free for non-commercial use. That's relatively new. It used to be paid. But yeah. Don't use Visual Studio. It's bad. I'm trying to get this little arrow thing to the right side of the widget, and part of the problem is that it doesn't have a background. I'm gonna pick... This is where my color blindness is gonna rear its ugly head. I'm going for a blue. My brain's telling me that the second column is blue, but I can't tell. VS Code is fine. I just prefer not to use it. As far as C# under VS Code goes, you are using a proprietary LSP, if I recall correctly. Kenny, this looks gray. I know it's not gray, because if you invert the colors, it becomes a very stark orange. And gray just doesn't tend to turn orange when you subtract gray from gray. Alright, so light blue? Alright, we're good. Thank you. Of course, I could check the hex code. The blue is the dominant channel. Actually, no, in this case... No, I read it wrong. 9-3, yeah, blue's dominant. This is blue. It is indeed blue. Okay, so I'm gonna click on that little section of the widget there. I'm gonna give it a color. Okay, that separates it from the rest of the widget so I can actually see it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that blue as its color. Alright, we gotta get up nice, close, and personal on this thing. Okay. Alright. Now there should be a way to make this anchor itself to the right so that it goes with the widget. Or with the parent frame. I think it's... you hit that. And that anchors it to the right, so it keeps... Okay, and then under layout, there's the width and height. There's your clip content toggle. What does this do? Lock aspect, no. Not what I want. What I want to do... I don't know how to do it, but I want to make it so that it... what does this do? This button. Constraints. This looks like a very Windows Forms anchor constraint thing. Why isn't it letting me... What the frick? This is a weird interface. So I want it constrained to the right, and then top plus bottom. That's what I want. Why wouldn't it let me click both? That's weird. It clearly shows both of them enabled. I don't know, Figma's weird sometimes. The UI changed on me like about a year or so, I want to say. And I'm just not used to it. Okay, so we got this nice little drop-down kind of skeleton thing. Let's make sure that I have the constraints set properly. And I do. Awesome. Okay. So now we need text. $38.40 by $21.60. Why not? Perfectly reasonably random thing to type into my text box. Alright, what's the font? Font size, enter. No, get the fuck out of here. We need the right font. Rod Donnie. That font. That's the game font. Regular. 12 point. Yeah. That works. It's gonna be a little bit weird to align this. See what I can do under constraints. So, instead of it being constrained to the top, I want it to be constrained to the middle. And left. So I guess that means I just need to visually align it once, and then it's gonna be fine. Right? Okay, well, I'm gonna get rid of this padding. No, you're not gonna let me do that? Okay, fine, be that way. Fucking Figma. Really? I need to know how many fucking units this needs to be. Of course, this is how I could center it. You know what you gotta do? That's what you gotta do. You gotta click the center button to center it. And then that visually centers it. Kind of. I think. Anyway. I might have gotten almost perfect even spacing in both directions. I could be wrong. But I might have gotten this perfect first try. It looks like it. Okay. I'm gonna need an icon to put on that little drop-down button thing. Now, socially distant uses blue side icons. I'll bring those up. And we just need a nice down arrow chevron thing. I don't know what you call it. I can't pronounce it. You know what I'm talking about. The thing that points downward with the things. I don't know where it spawned in, but it did not spawn in where I want it to spawn in. Where did it put it? Where did it put my little arrow? I want my arrow. Where did you put my arrow? I want my arrow. Give me my arrow. Do I have to drag it? Nope. I don't know where it put the arrow. This is the beauty of Figma. It's great. I love Figma. It's totally not annoying as fuck to use. I'm gonna end up spawning in so many fucking arrows, it's gonna run out of room. Everything's gonna be full of arrows. Everybody's gonna call me Arrowhead. I don't get it. Do I have to double click? Oh, that fucking placed it in. Okay. Right? Did it? Yep, it did. Alright. So now there's multiple arrows. There are now several arrows. I only needed one. Alright, delete. Delete. And then we move. There we go. Okay, you may have eaten the arrow, but did you need to barf 2 more arrows into my document? Okay, I'm gonna constrain these. Okay, 24 by 24. I'm not too keen on that. And that's why I'm not too keen on it. Doesn't fucking fit. Let's go with... I want to say 12 by 12. Yeah, 12 by 12 works. Just need to center it. It looks vaguely centered, but I'm only freehanding it. It'll look better in-game. It'll look a lot better in-game. Though, with the text renderer, I'm not so sure about that, but it'll at least be centered. Alright. Make the icon white. Alright, now we can give it a stroke. And some rounding. I can't believe I said that in that order on this... Thank God I don't monetize these videos. Why did I have to say stroke? I could have said border, I could have said outline, I could have said give it some rounding first. God damn it. Okay. Clip content, yes. Rounding. Okay. I don't know if I'm too keen on that much rounding, but... maybe it'll look better with a border. Okay, loose side icons, get out of here. I don't need you anymore. Okay, so up from the blues, I'm gonna go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for a border. I keep revealing the OBS window on the other side of my screen, or on my other monitor, and it's freaking me out. Okay. There, I gave it a stroke. Now this to me looks more like the open variant for it. Because this is a little dark on the background. And the stroke is blue, which usually means it's got focus. So I think that's what I'm going to designate this drop-down as being. This is going to be the open variant. What the fuck did I just do? I didn't want to do that. Oh god, Figma! Please! What the frick? How did I end up... That's fucking how did I end up all the way over there? That's some weird copy-pasting hit going on there. Yes, let's scroll by 4 different neofetishes. Actually, that was only 2, I think. No, don't move the... Damn it. Don't tell me Figma's gonna give me trouble. I've had enough trouble all day. I don't want Figma to give me trouble. I want to do the thing and do it well. Fuck it. These drop downs are not going to be vertically aligned. I don't care. I do care now. Okay. So you have 3 different drop-down variants. We're gonna need 4. No, we only need the 3. Okay, so... First thing that we need to do is desaturate the, default one. So I'm gonna go grab gray 6. And take its fill value. I don't like having to scroll all the way over. Next time I go over there, I'm gonna grab the color palette and put it over here. Okay. So we take the stroke on this first one and we set it to that gray. So that kind of mutes it a little. Yeah, let's go grab that palette. Sweat and swaggy. You know, for all this shit about fucking WebAssembly and performance and WebAL and WebAPU and all that crap, this fucking thing is running horribly on my computer. Just throwing it out there, my computer ain't fucking slow, this thing is slow. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna take this. Alright, so that's gonna be the normal drop down, you're not hovering over it, it's not active look. So, let's get that in game. Okay, first things first, I'm not gonna worry about the text padding. The text padding can come later, let's just get it rendering. So, background is 111315. Alright. So I have to remember how to program a color into this hit. I know how to do it. So we're gonna do 0x11, 0x13, 0x15, 0xFF for fully opaque. So that's the background. Now we need the rounding value, that's 3. And the stroke thickness, that's 1. We're also going to need the stroke color. Which will be 555555. Okay. So, now we can go ahead and we can draw the background I think that's how you do it anyway. It's the rectangle, then the rounding values, and then the color. Yep. Alright, and then we can do add rounded rectangle outline, which is going to be the rectangle, stroke thickness, the rounding, and the color. Yeah, that's what it is. So that should at least give it a background of some kind. And it does. Doesn't look that great. It's not quite a drop down, it looks more like a text box. But there it is. It's there. It's right there. Alright. Now, next thing that we need to do, it's going to be a little more complicated, but we need to get the little background here where the arrow is. We need to get that rendering. Now, we're going to run into an interesting little problem. You see, this background, you can kind of get an idea of what the problem will be. If you look, I'm hovering over the background of the little arrow, and you can see the rounding, but you can see that little blue outline. That blue outline is the rectangle I'm going to render on screen. So, I'm just going to render it, and you guys will see the problem. And then I'm going to show you guys how to fix the problem. So, I actually got the colors wrong. The stroke color is 74747474, or 747474FF. I wish you guys had caught that on me. Button background. That's the darker one. That's fine, I fixed it. Okay. So, now that I've fixed that, to get this button rendering, first of all, I need to know how wide it is. No, easy enough. Yes. It's 16 units wide. Button width 16. Alright, now I'm gonna need to create a rectangle here. Button rect. Equals new layout rect. Content rect dot right minus button width. Content rect dot top button width. Content rect dot height. And then we're gonna do geometry dot add quad button rect button background. And we'll boot the game. Now, here's the problem. It's very subtle. I'm gonna let you guys guess what the problem is while I eat more meat pie. Really subtle. It's as subtle as this meat pie is lukewarm. Okay. So, we zoom in. The problem is a lot more obvious. This button rectangle. This button rectangle is rendering over top of the border stroke. How are we going to fix that? Well, do I have the trick for you guys? Now, we go to drop down. There's one thing we're going to do first. First, we say clipping mode equals clipping mode dot clip. That's going to tell the game I want drop downs to opt into geometry clipping. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to say clip self equals true. That doesn't exist yet, but we're going to add that as a feature. So, add a private boolean clip self. Alright, so we have this clip self value now. Now I'm going to go to widget.renderInternal. So this is the internal rendering code for a widget. And all we're going to do is I'm going to take this var clipping value, move it up here, and we're going to take this if statement. I know I have to do it twice, but I'm going to copy it up here. The only condition with this one is going to be that clip self is enabled. So if clip self is enabled, then it's going to enable the clip mask of this widget before rendering this widget, which means the widget itself will get clipped. Now, if we come down here, and we're not already clipping, which will be the case if clip self is false, then we're going to also push it before rendering the children. Now, if we run the game with this implemented, I don't know what the fuck it's gonna do. I can make some reasonable assumptions of what it's gonna do, but I don't know what it's gonna do. I'm hoping that it does nothing. That's what I want it to do. Because in Socially Distant, when you clip something, and you don't go ahead and explicitly render a clipping mask, it just uses the widget geometry as its clipping mask. So, in this case, nothing's getting clipped. That's fine. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna override rebuild clip, or rebuild clipping whatever, and I'm gonna call instead of geometry draw visual, geometry clip visual. Now we're missing that API, so I'm gonna add it. Okay. So what this is gonna do is instead of the game just taking the normal geometry output and using that as the widget's clip mask, we get a crash. I should have known. Okay. Now, all we have to do here is add a rounded rectangle using the content rect as the rectangle, button rounding as the rounding value, and then color white for the color. Now when we run it, it is forced to be rounded. Alright. Now, since it's forced to be rounded, we can very easily solve the issue of it rounding on top of, or it rendering on top of the border by just rendering the border afterward. Like, that's not a problem. So, you know, there we go. We can clean things up a little by moving this up here. And then, boom. And now, we have a nice rounded drop-down button here. So that is how you solve that problem. You use the clipping feature. So, next what we need to do is we need to get that arrow on screen. Now, I want to know how big the arrow was in units. Uh, 12 by 12. Alright, now. Now we're gonna measure the arrow, so this is gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna do visual style, icon font, dot measure, blue side icons, dot chevron down. Ooh. Chevron Chevron. Chevron down. That's what it was. Arrow size for the font size. Then arrow location is going to be a new point. Arrow rect, nope, button rect left plus button rect width minus arrow measurement dot x over 2. And it's going to be button rect top plus button rect height minus arrow measurement dot y over 2. And then that's where the arrow goes on screen. Arrow color, it's going to be color white. And just after drawing the button background, I'm going to do, it's going to be visual style icon font draw geometry arrow location or not. What the frick? Arrow color. Loose side icons. Chevron down. I know what the problem is. This needs to be 2 vector 2. Alright. So now we have a little arrow. Perfectly centered, too. I'm not too keen on, you know, the padding here. But that's easy to fix. That's very easy to fix. So this is where I'm going to introduce to you guys the concept of theme properties. So it's all well and good that we can render a background. And we can even get information from the widget, like, is the mouse hovering over? We haven't implemented that yet, but the info is there. We just haven't added the colors. What if the theme wants the widget to do something? What if the theme wants to tell the widget how big it should be? Or how much distance an element should be from the widget's edges? Or what color text should be? Well, theme properties let you do that. Let's go back to dropdown. The first thing I'm going to do is going to create a new struct. Dropdown, button, theme, properties. And I'm going to create a single public padding value, content padding. Next, what I'm going to do So I'm going to implement another interface. I update theme properties. Then what I'm going to do is at the very top of the dropdown, I'm going to create a new variable theme properties of type dropdown button theme properties. Next, what we're going to do is down here, we're going to say this.get theme properties ref theme properties. And we're going to say this.padding equals theme properties.content padding. Or is it this.margin? I can never remember. I think this.margin might be it. But that's going to pull the theme properties from the theme and allow us to use them. That's all it takes. The only thing is, we need to actually get the theme to give us these theme properties. So how do you do that? Well, you go to your drop-down button style, and then you implement the interface, I get theme properties. Drop-down button theme properties. Which gives you this method to implement. The very first thing you do is you return get dirty state. So what that'll do is it'll notify the game if something has changed. It's on you to tell it that something has changed, by the way. Yes, I cannot tell if you were being sarcastic there in the chat about not being zoomed in enough. I am not zoomed in enough. I'm actually trying to keep it more zoomed out so that you guys can see more of what's on screen. But for me, I kind of need, like, this much for it to not be that blurry. Okay, so I'm going to rely a little bit on the font to add some padding to the top. But on the left side, we're interested in the distance between the edge of the drop-down and the text. And on the right side, we need to include the button in the padding, plus some extra space so that the text doesn't bump up against that button. The best way to do that, pragmatically at least, is to go layout properties, content padding equals new padding, and then for the left, I'm going to do text from left, which is a variable I'm about to define, don't worry. Then we want 0 for the top, so I'm relying on the font. For the right side, I'm going to do button size, button width times 2. And for bottom padding, I'm going to do, oh god, not 2M, that's not a number, that's not even how you number, that's me being stupid and fat-fingering the keyboard. And no, I don't want 9 for the bottom padding. That's too much padding for the bottom. Okay, so. Text from left. How do we get that value? Well, you silly Billy, you click on the text and you look at its X value, and that's the text from left. Okay. Which would be a value of 5. There we go. That text from left. So now I'm going to take that interface. And I said by the end of this stream that this file would implement 23 interfaces. Now it does. Okay, so now we have theme properties implemented. Now the theme has control of the padding of drop-down buttons. And as you can see, we have some padding now. The button looks bigger. Now, I'm not a fan of how it doesn't quite, handle the width properly. That's a bit of a bug I'll have to fix. But as you can see, there's plenty of room. It's nice and cozy now. Now, with that said, more meat pie. There's a water bottle on my meat pie. I don't want a water bottle on my meat pie. I want the meat pie to disappear. As much as I'm memeing the meat pie, I don't actually like meat pie that much. I kinda wish it was strawberry. You can't do a meat pie counter if I'm only ever gonna eat meat pie on stream once. Alright, well, if anyone wants to, see if they can get this drop-down thing to... The game is open source, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. But let's do the hover state now. So, what I'm thinking for the hover state so I'm just going to be really simple about it. We can always change it later. I'm going to grab this stroke color, and I'm going to use it for the stroke and background. So that's the stroke color. No, not strawberry meat pie! Just strawberry pie! I don't want those two things together. The point is I don't want the meat in the pie. And I don't want my pie filling to be gravy and veggies. That's like the most adult meat pie ever. Not adult. Wrong word. The most... I don't know what the word is. But it's a meat pie. It's not an actual pie. Alright. Stroke highlight. Strawberry meat pie. No, don't, no. I know what you said in my chat. Okay. Alright, so if we're hovered or pressed, then the stroke color will be the stroke highlight color. That's what I'm gonna do. So right away we'll see that working. So now when you hover over it, you can see it starts to go blue. It's a subtle hint, and probably not the best color, but it works. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the button, or the button background do the same thing. So, if we're hovered but not pressed, then button color is going to be the same as stroke color. It gets you this nice bold highlight while the drop down is hovered. But while it's open, it goes back to having a blue border and a gray button. But I don't want it to be gray, so I'm going to add a blue button color when it's pressed. And I never actually did end up using the opened state. That's fine. Some theme offer somewhere is going to use it. Because you will be able to add your own themes to the game. That's going to be a possibility. You're going to be able to write your own themes. I could use the open state to change the icon that's used for the button, but that's... Actually, I might do that. I might make it do a an upward pointing arrow or something. Just to show that it works. I don't know. Got plenty of time to figure that out. But anyway. Actually, we're gonna need... Gonna need to make sure that it checks to see that I'm opened. We're not adding a meat pie theme to Socially Distant. You guys are killing me. Alright. I'm not adding a meat pie theme to the game. And I've just discovered a bug. This is great. This is great. There's a bug in the game now. The drop-down open state never gets reset. Why does the drop-down open state never get set, or get set to false? Okay, let's put a breakpoint here. That should have gotten called. And that did get called. Weird. I don't know why it's not resetting. That's so weird. I've never... Okay, we'll put a breakpoint here for when drop down open equals false. I'm not designing a fucking meat pie theme. Y'all are weird. Why is pressed true? That's weird. Pressed should not be true. What happened? Ah, fuck it. I'm gonna remove that check. I have a feeling that check had something to do with it. That check to see if the mouse button was pressed on the mouse release event. If the mouse was released, the button wouldn't be pressed. You are still stuck on stoop. What the frick? What the frick? It's not going back to gray. Oh, it did go back to gray. How did it go back to... How did I get it to reset? That's weird. Right-clicking it resets it. Right-clicking? Resets the... What? What the fuck is happening? Why would... It's just straight up never firing the event. Never firing the event. That is weird. What if I comment this out? Nope. What if I just take this code out of the game? No more drag start. Come on. This is the weirdest bug I've ever seen in Social Elitist. I don't know what the problem is. I get the event if I right-click. But if I left click, I don't. I'm not gonna fuck with it anymore. It's fine. Right-clicking it fixes it. Just fucking right-click it, it'll be fine. I will fix that bug, but I'm not gonna be able to fix it on screen. That's not gonna happen. Alright, well. I'm gonna make it really obvious that it's a bug. Alright. So, instead of measuring loose side icons that chevron down directly, and pull the icon based on visual state. And then, it'll be the same icon we render. That didn't work. It's because I dropped, or it's... Yeah, okay, it's working. Yeah, as it's a bit hard to see with my eyes when zoomed out this low, but you see the arrow? Whenever the menu is open, it points up. And whenever the menu is closed, it points down. That's drop down. It's what a drop down does. I wrote a drop down. We did it. We fucking did it, guys. We wrote a drop down. I'm not gonna animate it or anything like that. There's no reason to. I would put sound effects on it eventually. You know, like a click sound or something, but yeah. I do want to animate eventually these guys. These, toggle switches, and I want to put sound effects on them too. But yeah, we have a drop down now. And that's what it looks like. Gotta right-click it to fix the colors. It's a little bit of a buggy theme, but it works. It works. And there's a scroll bar. We won't talk about the scroll bar. Scroll bar is a little bit drunk. As you can see, it's kind of rendering outside of where it should. You can see where it's supposed to render, because it's right there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the scroll bar. I might know what's going on with the scroll bar. You know what? We'll fix the bug with the scroll bar. I think if I set the game resolution down to 1920 by 1080, things could break, but, you know, once I close out of this menu and reopen it, it'll fix itself. Let's see if that fixes the scroll bar. No, it does not. It does not. Okay, that's weird. I don't know what's going on with Mr. Scroll Bar here. Scroll bar's just weird. Alright, the text rendering is fucking horrible at this resolution of my display, so we're gonna fix that. I don't know why all the clipping regions go all funky. I summoned an alien. I pressed the hat button twice. Okay, I can actually fix that, I think I can fix that clipping thing. Ryder is portalizing me. Don't portalize me, it's rude. Alright. Can validate clipping is not public. It should be public. Oh no, this should not be recursive. Okay. Alright. That should allow the game to invalidate clipping when the resolution changes. If not, the API's there. I can fix it. Nope, that didn't fix it. Courier, you know exactly what I'm gonna write in the merge request when I fix that. You know exactly what I'm gonna write, and you're gonna see it, because it's gonna be in hashtag get on the Discord server. Okay. This needs to do top level, invalidate geometry, true, and top level, invalidate clipping, true. That'll fix it. That'll fix the clipping issue. Ugh. Not a great looking resolution. Look at that text rendering. Ugh. Bad. Really bad. Now it's better. Alright, let's try switching back to 1080p. A little flicker, but... yeah, it works. That's bug fix. I don't know when I started the stream, but we're almost at 9 p.m. So, that's gonna do it, I think. I'm gonna commit this to Git.